Hey guys, it's John with Rick's Camaro, and Paul Hammond from C&R Racing was nice enough to stop by to talk about a second-gen radiator that we're going to be hosting pretty soon, and it's for the LS engine, and we're going to talk about why it is so needed when you do an engine swap out.
John, we've been making radiators for a long, long time. C&R basically has started for racing. Its sole purpose was professional road racing. From the IRL series, the owner, Chris Paulson, actually worked for an IRL team and is for years and years, and just started this business, and it just grew and grew and grew. So we make a lot of things for professional race teams. Currently, we have the bulk of NASCAR with their products. Cooling is number one, obviously, but we do a lot of we have a lot of equipment and machinery that we can make about anything. So there's all sorts of things being built for that. But the core of the business is still racing, and it always will be. So the neat thing for the aftermarket is that I can tie into the engineers, I can tie into the manufacturing processes that we do. And this kind of brings us to our second-gen Camaro radiator for the LS engines. When customers, and it's not uncommon to do that now, but there's so many different LS engines out there now, and you can get a lot of horsepower out of them. So horsepower is heat, and we're going to talk about this today and how this kind of blends in and helps really solve a lot of issues with it. So we have a radiator. It's a two-row design core with Spal dual 11 fans mounted onto it. This particular unit has an engine oil cooler and a power steering cooler built into it. That's what these are here. And the importance of that is pretty much any LS engine making more than 500 horsepower needs an engine oil cooler. They'll generate a lot of heat. Just the way they circulate the oil through the engine, it can pull heat out, and more so than a small block or big block. So when those applications come in, particularly LS7s, LS9s, LS3s, they all have engine oil coolers from the factory. So it's very important to do this. So we took a product that we've had, used it in a lot of different applications. Years ago it was in NASCAR. It's a dirt late model application, and it just packages very well into the Camaros and other LS applications we do. So it has about 100,000 BTU rating, which is quite large. And you don't have to mount it. It's already installed. You just run your dash 10 lines to it, and you're done.
This is, if you look right here, C&R Racing, when they make the radiators, each one is made here in America by hand. So if you see right here, it really ensures that top quality that you're really looking for. And, we did talk about the racing, but we do appeal to a lot of street people, and a lot of people in their second gens nowadays aren't going to have that original engine in there. They're going to really want more horsepower. They're going to want to upgrade, like we talked about, which is why you need that. Even if you're just going to go out for a cruise, maybe you're a weekend warrior type guy, this is something you really want to make sure that you don't have an engine failure, your engine's getting overheated. Think about, a hot summer day, a lot of stop and go traffic. It really puts a lot of pressure on that car, and that's something that this radiator really helps alleviate.
It does. With our LSs, the way we package it's a little bit different than the others as well. You'll notice that the inlet and out are on the same side, and that favors the majority of the LS engines anyways. So the hoses are short and sweet running to them, and then it frees up this area over here for an air intake for fuel injection. So it does a lot of things with it. We also provide a steam port, which is critical for an LS engine. Very, very important part to have. That will come with it. This second gen has a unique mounting. We don't use the factory brackets on it. We use our own bracket on top, which will bolt into the core support, and then we actually machine the lower feet to fit right into the rubbers that cushion it. So all that is, there's no modifications to the bottom.
Oh yeah.
So it supports it well, and then it keeps it, it mounts it more like a modern car, and it gives a little bit of room to move around, because radiator aluminum, they heat up, they swell up, they shrink down when they get hot and cold.
That's something very important to remember about C&R that we also really like, is that a lot of these are drop-in applications, so it's really going to work out well for you and take out a lot of hassle of having to do a lot of front-end modification, bringing a welder and such, which is what's really great about these LS modules.
Yeah, if you add an LS engine, you'll notice immediately that the hose sizes are much different than if your earlier Camaro had a small block in it. The hoses won't work, so immediately you run into a problem there. So like I said, these are spec'd for the LS engines out there, and typically they're 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch, which are a little smaller than a small block or big block. But so yeah, they come with pretty much everything you need. The only other options are the relays, and most of the engine kits come with the relays. So we don't include them on purpose because a lot of guys don't need them. So but they're available to the customers that need them.
Cool. Cool. We're gonna do a quick demonstration right now.
Yeah,
we have it hooked up. That's why we got this system right here.
You can see with these dual 11 fans, when the power comes on, and with an LS engine, typically they're going to be fuel injected. Not always, but they're going to be fuel injected. And then you can just wire the output. There's a blue wire typically coming out of the ECM. It's a ground signal, and it will trigger the relays to turn the fans on. So you don't have to add anything else to it. So
which is great.
Yeah,
exactly.
very easy to do. So when that comes on. Also, another little trick that Spal does is to have these little rubber flappers in here, which really help out. So when you're moving down the highway and the fans aren't on, it becomes a high pressure inside, and these will open up to allow the air to escape, so it won't dam the air up. Sometimes that you can do that and make it run hotter. And then you can see them when I turn the fan back on, it creates a low pressure in there, and these will suck shut. Little tricks like that really make a big difference. This particular unit is rated up to about 800 horsepower, and not everybody needs a power steering cooler, and not everybody needs an engine oil cooler for it. So we offer them with and without. These are options, but it's just something a little different. And those coolers are straight from NASCAR. So
that's especially why we like C&R. They put a lot of engineering into their products, and they really deliver a top-notch quality product, which is what you want to invest in your car, especially when you're dropping in a new engine, doing a restoration, body parts start to rust, and you don't want to just throw something in there. So this is something that's really worth investing in because you really don't want your engine to melt down on a hot summer day.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Well, we want to thank Paul for coming out here today and taking the trip from North Carolina. So when you want to ride cool, want to ride with the best, choose Rick's Camaro today.